There's an extra seat in first class if you want it. It's a long flight to Ireland.
Yes, please. How could I say no to something this good? I settled into the comfortable seat. The exhaustion from traveling made me fall asleep fast. I had no idea I ended up resting on a stranger's shoulder.
Sir, your friend needs to put her seatbelt on.
As much as I'd love a beautiful girl drooling on my shoulder, you better buckle up.
When I woke up, I was completely embarrassed. But while I kept apologizing, I accidentally noticed the magazine cover in my hands. The man sitting next to me was actually a huge movie star.
Flight attendant probably thought she was making your ear sitting next to me. We can do a selfie or something just when we land, all right? I don't want to attract any attention.
The second I heard his arrogant attitude, all my guilt disappeared. I made it clear I had zero interest in him.
Somebody's grumpy when they wake up.
No, but arrogance makes me grumpy.
Well, some people mistake confidence for arrogance.
I'm pretty sure it's just arrogance. Instead of getting mad at my insult, Beckett suddenly became even more interested in me. No matter how hard he tried to charm me and start a conversation, I acted completely unimpressed. I even looked annoyed. So for the rest of the flight, Beckett finally stopped bothering me. We soon landed in Ireland. Beckett left the airport surrounded by excited fans. I was picked up by my host family instead. Because of the time difference, I passed out right after settling into my room. When I woke up again, it was already the next morning. I realized this family did more than host students. They also ran an inn. Right then, they accidentally spilled juice on themselves, with their clothes soaked. They asked me to deliver breakfast instead to protect the inn's image. What I did not expect was that the guest was Beckett.
You didn't spit in my food, did you?
What are you doing here?
Are you stalking me?
No.
I think you might be. I didn't buy that whole I'm not interested bit.
By then, I had already lost the energy to argue with his confidence. I sarcastically asked why a big movie star was staying somewhere this remote instead of a five-star hotel.
Well, I have to go to orientation, so enjoy.
Well, I'll be staying here for the next few months while we film, so no sneaking up into my room yet.
After hearing his almost hilariously confident response, I could not even bother reacting. After I came back from the dining room, I asked why Beckett was here before the couple could answer. Their daughter completely lost it. She was one of Beckett's biggest fans. She practically begged her daughter not to tell anyone Beckett was staying here. The reason he chose this place was because it was close to his filming location. That night came quickly. While I was practicing violin in my room, someone suddenly knocked on my door.
What are you doing?
You're pretty good on that thing, you know?
I thought my playing was bothering someone, but Beckett walked right in without hesitation. He quickly picked up the sketchbook on my bed, then asked what the cross inside it meant. I told him it belonged to my brother. He died in an accident a year ago. Since then, I had never been able to fully focus again after failing an important violin exam not long ago. I decided to come to Ireland to find the cross from my brother's sketchbook, because my name was written beneath that drawing. The moment he heard that, Beckett dropped his playful attitude. He promised he would help me find it. When he finally saw me smile again, he remembered why he came in the first place, because he did not want to be seen in public. He had no one to practice his script with. The second he said that, I instantly understood what he wanted, and I agreed without hesitation. Inside that tiny room, for some reason, as we acted out the more emotional scenes, things between us started to feel strangely intimate.
How was that?
That was great.
Feeling awkward and a little shy. I went back to my room. The next morning, Beckett came straight to the kitchen for breakfast. He happened to overhear everyone discussing postponing their plan to show me around Ireland. Because Emma's father had burned his hand, they could not take me sightseeing anymore.
Well, I could take you.
To avoid another awkward moment like last night, I immediately turned Beckett down. I knew exactly why I came here. It was to find the message my brother left behind, not to fall in love. After arriving in Ireland, I spent all my free time outside class, searching cemetery after cemetery, but I still could not find the cross from my brother's sketch. Compared to how focused I was, Beckett kept trying to get me to enjoy the scenery instead.
What are you doing?
I was actually looking for that cross.
You help me with my lines, and I'll be your personal tour guide. Show you all the sights of Ireland.
At first, I planned to keep Rafid, but then I realized, without Beckett's help, I would probably never find that cross in Ireland. We took his convertible and soon arrived at the cliffs of Moher before entering. Beckett carefully disguised himself, but he seriously underestimated how famous he was, even with his face covered. A group of girls still recognized him, worried they might be wrong, and embarrassed themselves. They followed us from behind, quietly watching.
Oh, Johnny, don't you worry about that nasty rash you have. I still love you.
What's Franny, my dear? Don't you think we ought to get married?
By playing along together, we successfully convinced them otherwise. With Beckett leading the way, we deliberately avoided the crowded tourist paths. After nearly 10 minutes of rushing, we finally reached the cliffs towering 200 meters above the ocean. There we talked about our school days. When I spoke about mine, my eyes were full of hope, but Beckett stayed calm. He barely showed any emotion. His life had never really belonged to him. Even something as normal as making friends was never fully his choice. His father's control had followed him everywhere for his entire early life. On that cliff, we talked openly for over an hour, and somewhere during that time, something between us quietly changed. The next day came, and during my weekend break, I followed Beckett to his movie set. Watching him stare deeply into his female co-star's eyes, I suddenly felt jealous for no reason. Right when I was feeling down, a classmate from school showed up. She told me outsiders were not allowed there.
No, Beckett invited me.
Just as she was about to mock me, Beckett showed up and shut her down instantly. Then he even introduced me to the movie's leading actress. Over the next few days, my life slowly returned to normal. If I wanted to graduate from my school in Ireland, I needed an elderly woman to help with my thesis, but she was difficult, cold, and impossible to approach it. Seriously slowed down my progress when Beckett heard about it. He decided to help.
What's up, ladies? Groovy day, don't you think, man?
He found out the woman loved rock music and street rap, so he used that to his advantage. The woman who was always serious with me suddenly became incredibly warm around Beckett as things became more relaxed. She finally agreed to help with my thesis, but Beckett's help did not stop there. That night, he insisted on taking me to a bar. There, he introduced me to a wandering violinist.
I brought this American girl here to show us some real Irish fun.
We can do that.
Under the old man's lead, the whole place instantly came alive. I had no idea what Beckett whispered to him, but the next second, the old man motioned for me to step on stage. Suddenly, all eyes were on me with the crowd pushing me to play. I had no choice but to walk up before I officially began. The old man asked me to play alone first, but within seconds, he immediately spotted my problem.
It doesn't matter what your fingers or the notes are. It's how you play them, right? Play them with your heart. Play like you feel it.
As the other instruments joined in, I closed my eyes and chose to forget all those rigid techniques for once during that performance. I realized my playing was still flawed, sometimes even out of tune. But for the first time, I was no longer struggling to focus. After it ended, the old man specifically told me to remember that feeling. I knew everything that happened that night was Beckett's doing over the next week. We stepped into the happiest and most unforgettable time of our lives. We kept returning to that familiar bar, dancing and singing through the music. I still helped Beckett practice his lines, but this time was different. Now when we read those romantic words, we could both naturally feel them. Every moment we shared quietly built something deeper between us. Even though neither of us ever said it out loud, deep down, we had already become irreplaceable to each other. Just when I was happily imagining a future with Beckett, his father suddenly noticed me.
What do you mean by that?
I just suggest you keep things very professional with Beckett. He's with Taylor.
So you manipulate his career and his love life.
His love life is his career.
He looked down on my background and my career, and the Taylor he mentioned was Beckett's female lead without letting anyone notice. I quietly left the set.